Oh, hello. It's like Games Workshop knows that I'm sort of leaning away from Kill Team. You know, when I first started getting a bit less interested in Kill Team, that's when the Sanctifiers came out. And now they're bringing out the big guns, I'm convinced, to appeal to me personally, because we're getting power armored Sisters of Battle in Kill Team. That's right, the next Kill Team box was apparently leaked. It's Celestian Infiltrators versus Assassin Wing, probably. Okay, let's get into what we know, and then let's do some speculation and talk about things that we don't know. So this is what we have. That circle around the Night Lords looking wingerling logo thing is on the one leaked image that we have. So this is in Spanish. We know there's a big Kill Team contingent in Spain. We know there's a playtester cell in Spain. So hooray, that's probably where it's come from, somewhere around there, you know, Spain. And we have this contents page that tells us almost nothing. Do you know, I have never subscribed to The View. There are people out there that firmly believe that, like, Chapter Master Valrak is a Games Workshop employee or supported officially behind the scenes by Games Workshop, and all these leaks and rumors are there to generate hype for new products. I have never been one to subscribe to that worldview. However, if you wanted to generate hype for a kill team without really telling anybody anything, this is how you would do it. This is the bit you would leak. Like, if somebody's got the book, then presumably they could be leaking, you know, pictures of the miniatures, data cards. Choosing to leak the page with the art on it, that's pretty cool. That feels just, I could almost believe that it's an inside job. Do you know? So what does this say? Well, let's talk about appropriate use of AI. I fed this to ChatGPT and I sort of said, look, I know this is low resolution, but can you do your best and try and work out what it might say? There are other people that have used Google Translate on a phone app and they got similar-ish things, but I just wanted to run it through a second machine and see what that came out with, and they compared the two. So the advantage using ChatGPT is ChatGPT will look at other kill team things and use kind of use that to try and work out and guess what things probably say to inform the translation, because we're not just trying to do a straight translation, we're also trying to decipher really dodgily written or really dodgily resolution text, right? So it says here we likely have Commando en las Sombreras, which it reckons is going to boil down to Kill Team Into the Shadows. Could be. We know that these are never direct translations, right? And then the first section is the Shadow of Death, and it looks to be introduction, background, lore, and flavor text. Second section there. Now, ChatGPT has spat out Celestial Infiltrators. I reckon that they're going to be Celestian Infiltrators. Okay. Other translators have not translated that as infiltrator; they've translated it as something else. I think they're going to be Celestian Infiltrators, because to me, Celestian Infiltrators makes a lot of sense as the name of a kill team. So that's what I think they're going to be. And so you've got the lore section for the Celestian Infiltrators: background, tactical doctrine, strategic assets. And then we've got the Raptors slash what are the other things? I've written it down. The other thing that the Raptors kit builds, Warp Talents, that's the one. And that team seems to be called Assassin Wing. Background, tactical doctrine, strategic assets. And then we've got Regulars de Commando, which ChatGPT is giving me command rules. I think Commando is probably how they're translating operatives, maybe, right? So this is the section in the book where you're going to find the rules for the operatives. Kill team rules, specialty operatives, equipment, battle tactics. So what it's basically saying is you've got the book, you've got pages 4 to 9 are going to be the background for the Shadow of Death, what's going on, what's the actual overall lore. Then you're going to have the lore for the Infiltrators, the lore for the Assassin Wing. Then you're going to have page 26, page 49 are going to be the rules, right? And then page 50 to 87, we've got missions, narrative missions, special conditions, objectives, and deployment maps. So that makes sense. That seems like what you'd have on in one of these kill team dossiers, right? And then on the other page here, we've got, it's just the same stuff. So it's Celestial Infiltrators kill team. Well, I reckon it says Celestian Infiltrators kill team. And it says Selection D Commando, command selection. This is actually going to be your operative selection, isn't it? This is going to be where it tells you you can have 10 operatives, 4 of these, 2 of these, 1 of these, whatever it is. Then we've got faction rules, archetypes, data cards, faction equipment, and designer's commentary. And it's the same for both sides. So I don't think there's anything groundbreaking there. That is all what you would expect. If you go and pick up one of your other kill team dossiers of recent years, it's all laid out in the same way. You've got your design commentary, you know, the rules, and then you've also got the other bits and bobs, the background, the lore, and some mission stuff. Fine. Let's go back to the picture without the translated guff on it. So a couple of interesting things. If you look at the missions box out at the bottom, the pitch is quite hard to see what it is, but it doesn't look like Necron Tomb World terrain. It looks like Volcus, right? So I think when we saw Tomb World previewed, we thought we were going to get, you know, Tomb World, and then the following 3 boxes would all be Tomb World stuff, Tomb World add-ons, right? Now, maybe Games Workshop aren't going to give us a whole, you know, they're going to launch Tomb World and it's going to be the Tomb World season, but maybe each of the 3 boxes in the season isn't actually going to come with add-on parts for Tomb World. I don't know. Maybe they're going to go back to some things for Volcus. I was watching Can You Roll a Crit, and one thing he speculated was that this might be a narrative box similar to Ashes of Faith, and that's why it apparently returns to Volcus. But either way, that bottom picture there next to missions is interesting because it shows some terrain. I can't tell exactly what it is. It looks kind of Volcus adjacent, but in any event, it is open world terrain. What it isn't is the new Necron Tomb World stuff that we've seen previewed officially from Warcom, right? So let's get into speculating about the Celestian Infiltrators. So from the one picture we see, right, of the main picture that we see, she's got the candelabra on her back, right? It's not quite the same as the one in the Infiltrators box. And she's got a shield. Again, it's not quite the same design. She's got a sword. There's no sword arms in the Infiltrators box, okay? And otherwise, she looks like a generic Sisters of Battle. So a lot of people have seen that and they've run with, because the Celestian Sacrosancts, which is what's pictured on the left, because they're already a thing that exists in Warhammer 40k, that we could be, and I make room for this, we could be getting a return to upgrade sprue teams. So effectively what we're getting is a Celestian Sacrosanct upgrade team, upgrade squad, which is where you get your sword and a fancier shield for maybe if you think this is your boss, and then the others are all just the models from this kit, which is possible, and I think isn't a terrible idea, because after all, you know, some of the best looking kill teams have been from upgrade sprues. Brood Brothers and Nemesis Claw, people really like those teams, at least I think they do. Didn't Nemesis Claw win Mini of the Year, despite being an upgrade sprue? They look really, really good. So I think it's possible it's an upgrade sprue. But I also think it's very possible that it's a new kit. And maybe I am high on hopium, okay? But just think about this. Maybe it is a new kind of Celestian, a Celestian Infiltrator, which is different to a Sacrosanct. But one of the miniatures, it's not even necessarily the leader, right? If you think of, just off the top of my head, Ashes of Faith, the character that was front and center on the box art for Ashes of Faith was the Pistolier. There's no rule that says it must even be the leader, although I can see the candelabra thing is usually what shows up on sergeants, sure. But it's quite possible that that's just one model in the team has a shield and is a nod to the sacrosancts, in the same way that, in Hand of the Archon, for example, you've got one model that's kind of a witch elf and one model that's kind of a rack, right? They do this quite often in different teams, occasionally where you'll have one specialist in the team, which is kind of sort of a nod towards a pre-existing unit in 40k. And I don't think it follows necessarily that the rest of the team are made up of these shield girls, or even that it is therefore obviously an upgrade sprue team. And one piece of evidence that I would kind of point to for that is the other little picture they show in the leak, the other piece of art. She looks like she's a banner pole holder for a start. Now, that could still be an upgrade sprue. They could put a banner on an upgrade sprue. But it looks as well, she doesn't have, if you look at the official Warhammer.com pictures of the Celestian Infiltrators, they've all got these fence posts on the backs of their backpacks, like all the regular ones, not just the sergeant with the candles. They've all got these fence posts. In the art there, for the one with the banner, we don't see a fence post. So I think it's at least possible that we're not going to see the return to upgrade kits, and it's going to be a whole new kit for Sisters, a new kind of Celestian, and that is supported by the lore. The Celestians were a broader concept originally, right? Celestians, if you go back, and there's a video on this channel where because I'm a big fan of Sisters of Battle, there's a video on this channel where I chart the evolution of Sisters from 2nd edition all the way through till 10th. Celestians were originally just, they were the equivalent of veteran Space Marines, right? They were just, basically, that was like an elite version of your basic troops, and they were armed with the same sorts of weapons, and they could take more. They could take like 2 special heavy weapons in 5, but otherwise they had bolters. And then the Sacrosancts, when they first came out, they didn't aim to replace the Celestians originally. They were just, this is a specialized unit of Celestians that really takes the bodyguarding part of their role to be their main thing, and they had more special rules for being bodyguards. And then only comparatively recently did Celestians, as a sort of a more generic thing, get removed from the codex. In fact, the Battle Sister box set, not brand new anymore, it's quite old now, I guess, but the still very new, and no one would sensibly say it needed upgrading or replacing. The basic Battle Sisters box comes with specific helmets with extra fleur-de-lis detail on that you're supposed to use if you want to assemble that unit of Battle Sisters as Celestians. So what I'm saying is there's that the lore as well as the art supports this being a whole new unit. That said, it could be an upgrade sprue for the Infiltrators box if that's the way they decided to go, and that's probably fine. But this is what, just as an aside, you'll notice as you look at this picture and as you look at the art as well, that the tabards in Order of Armoured Lady are reversed, right? They're black on the outside and red on the inside, rather than be the ones where for the regular Sisters that have the blood red on the outside and like a wine pinky purple color on the inside. And that's how you used to, because it used to be the same miniatures. So that's how you used to differentiate. It's an old school lore throwback, but that's how you used to differentiate the veteran Sisters from the regular Sisters. And in the same way as in the olden days, veteran Space Marines all had like white helmets in the Ultramarines, right? It was like a thing. So I have reasonable faith that this is going to be a brand new kit, right? Could be an upgrade sprue. I don't say it's impossible, but I think we're going to get a brand new kit, and the kit is going to be based around the old idea of Celestians as a more elite, but still very much patterned after the basic Battle Sisters concept. And I think you'll get 10 in the box, and I think they'll probably be buildable with a fairly standard loadout. So, mostly bolters with some special weapons, maybe some heavy weapons. It's possible, multi-melter, heavy flamer, heavy bolter, something like that. And then there'll be a whole pile of bonusy upgrade bits, like this shield and sword, that are aimed towards kill team that may or may not be usable in 40k. I think that's where we're going because Sisters players really want their shooty Celestians back. So hopefully that's where we go. I mean, you might think it's a bit of a reach to say that they're going to have guns when the only images we've seen have no guns, but that's where it's where I'm going to plant my flag. It's where I'm going to have faith until we see some more information. But either way, I am really happy if there was an upgrade sprue anyway, because like I said, upgrade sprue teams have been really, really good to us as well in the past. I think upgrade sprues get a bit unfairly monstered. I mean, some of them have been bad. I'm not a huge fan of, for example, the Tau Pathfinders, but that's because the core kit, I think, is really old and annoying. When it's an upgrade sprue, but it's thrown in with something like the brand new Cadian kit to make Brute Brothers, or the comparatively new at the time Legionaries kit to give you the Night Lords, I think the upgrade sprue mechanic can be great. So these Celestian models are in what I would consider to be the modern era of Games Workshop, right? So I think that an upgrade sprue could look really, really good. So we'll see. And then we've got the Assassin Wing. So these are definitely Raptors / Warp Talons, which is a plastic kit that currently exists, but it's the plastic kit that is on a smaller scale. They're not called Primaris, but they've sort of been steadily increasing the Chaos Space Marines to be the same kind of height to see eye to eye with Primaris Space Marines. And current Raptors and Warp Talons, it's one of those kits that's like perfectly serviceable, right? But it's just a bit out of scale. So it makes sense to me again that Games Workshop would want to replace that kit with a new kit, and we'll see. Yeah, in the art they don't look radically different. It'll be like all these other kits that they've done, like for Striking Scorpions, for example, when they got their new kill team. They didn't look massively visually distinct from the old metal Striking Scorpions. They were just bigger and had better detail, right? And this is going to be that, right? I think they're going to be an upgraded version of this kit. So therefore, I would expect they're going to have a lot of the same options. Melter Gun's probably going to come in there. Power Sword on the leader's probably going to come in there. And then Lightning Claws and things. If you go into the Warp Talon side, I can imagine being on there. And then, yeah, I think it will be buildable to make whatever the current rules are for Raptors and Warp Talons in the Codex Chaos Space Marines, and I think it will just have extra parts for Kill Team. Potentially not that many, right? It could be like again, like Striking Scorpions or something like that, where they don't give you that much more, but what you will do is you'll get your variety by when you build the squad for Kill Team, because it's a 2-for-1, it's a dual box kit. When you build the squad for Kill Team, I reckon you'll probably use some parts from the Raptors and some parts from the Warp Talons, and you'll be able to make quite a diverse squad. That would be my guess. Lots of people are calling them Night Lords. I realise that the picture is painted blue and they're painted as Night Lords. I don't think this is going to be another plastic kit where they are specifically Night Lords with Night Lords molded shoulder pads. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I know that it said that the lead dev for Kill Team, his favourite thing is Night Lords. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think they're just going to be generic Raptors or Warp Talons. Now, listen, it's true to say that when these plastic Warp Talons and Raptors came out, they certainly have something Night Lordian about them. They kind of look like a Night Lords unit, right? But without being, I think they'll have the same vibe going on. I think they will look design-wise the same. They'll just be bigger, better detail, those kinds of things. In terms of rules, I don't really want to talk much about rules, but like I know a lot of people are going to be like, "What's this going to be like? 5-6 flying?" I think it'll be a 6-man team. I think you'll get 10 in the box, same as we've had for all the other. People are saying, "Oh, they're going to be a 5-man team," and I'm like, "Well, They could be, and I know the Death Guard are going to Death Watch are going to be a 5-man team, but I don't think they haven't gone back and retroactively changed all the other Marine teams to 5 men, so I don't know that these are necessarily going to be. Now, maybe you think, well, they're flying, so they've got to be worse in some way, so they'll be 5 men. It's like, yes. Are they actually going to fly though, or are they going to have some version of flying like the Tempest's Aquilons, where their jump packs definitely do? I'm not saying it'll be exactly the same rule as the Aquilon, but where their jump packs definitely do something, but it's not quite flying like Vespid can fly, right? That's what I think. And that's really it. So, you know, a shortish video. What are your thoughts? What do you believe is going to be? Do you want to violently disagree with anything I've said? It's allowed. It's possible. I'm actually really hyped for the Sisters team. I'm certainly going to buy them, build them, paint them, and play them at least a couple of times. You know, Power Armoured set. I came into Kill Team 2 editions ago, even before then, in earlier versions of Kill Team, playing Power Armoured Sisters, and so being able to go back and play Power Armoured Sisters with a proper bespoke rule set, right, will be really cool. And it'd be really interesting to see how they balance what will presumably it's a really interesting design space, isn't it? Because Sisters traditionally they have the armor of a Space Marine, and they have the kind of ballistic skill of a Space Marine, right? But they are worse at fighting in close combat, and they have less like wounds and toughness and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting design space because presumably they're going to be more numerous. We're going to get 8 models, 9 models, 10 models, something like that, right? Interesting to see how that happens. Do subscribe, like, comment, etc. Do consider joining the Discord. The link's in the description. The Discord is free for all. Yeah. Big thank you to all my channel members, but particularly to Alex, who donates money every single month at the top tier of membership, which means he generates quite a significant portion of the channel's income, which is pretty cool. So thanks, Alex. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time with who knows what. Cheery bye. Bye bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.